All right, we're going to record. We've got a great workshop lined up today. You're going to want to take out notes. Let me see your pens. Let me see your papers. Pen and paper. All right, let me see them. And let's get ready for an amazing workshop. I'm pumped about it. And this is going to be, normally we kind of just let it ride and put some trainees in one group and the rest of the team in another group. But this is such an important workshop today that I have to make sure that you guys get the goods, okay? And I'm going to wait. I'm going to pause in a minute, and I'm going to pause. We'll have a cut commercial in the middle of the workshop so that I can give you all a very, very cool opportunity, which you're going to be excited about. But before I go into that, I want to go ahead and explain what the impetus of today's phoning workshop is all about. In fact, I just gave it away. Today's workshop, today's Champs Club workshop is going to be all about phone skills. How many of you ever feel like you make calls and you get frustrated for any reason, right? There's one set of, element of frustration when you're trying to get demos and you get answering machines. How many get answering machines and you're really ticked off, you're stressed out, you're like, gosh, nobody's freaking answering the phone, right? And it's really a frustration, right? So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. How many of you ever gotten human beings on the phone, like you're talking to a customer and you get, call me later, call me next week, and you're frustrated because you talk to them and they get, call me later, call me later. Raise your hand if you get frustrated with that, right? How about, have you ever gotten not like hardcore? I mean, we always have like that one lady who's like, has a terrible day-to-day or dirty diaper, either in their hand, they have a dirty diaper, or maybe in their own pants, they have a dirty diaper. And, like they're holding a kid with a dirty diaper, or they have a dirty diaper, and you get frustrated because they were rude to you and you lose out. It's been a while, hasn't it, Raquel? It's been a while. She's like, I don't want to have those days again. Okay. But maybe you've gotten rejected. They just flat out said no to you on the phone. Who's ever had that? Right. So this is a really, really important Champs Club. And I'm really glad that you all made the decision to be here today. I'd love to see you on video. Everyone that can be on video, I'd really love it if you can just show your face. We want to see you. I don't care what your bed head looks like or anything like that. So you could be sipping on your orange juice, your black currant juice, your mushroom juice, or the worst thing would be coffee. Okay. But anyway, all right. Well, let's jump into this. And if you've ever been frustrated by any of those situations, today is the workshop for you. So I'm glad you're here, and we'd love to see you on video, like I said, because we love you. We love you, no matter who you are. We do love you. We want to see you and have you contribute energy and engagement here, as well as help everyone else and get more out of the meeting yourself. Okay. So we got a great meeting. So you got your pen and paper, and I want to give you some phone keys to success. Okay. Phone keys to success. And so I've got 10 keys to success on the phone. And I texted this to myself, the agenda for today's tips. And then I've been texting all morning. And so I had to pull up my own agenda here. So first of all, and I'm going to tell the contest in just a few moments. So we'll get to that in a minute, but I want to talk about phone success here. Okay. So here's what it is. I'm going to start off with the bottom line successful phone jam. Okay. So let me explain a successful phone jam. And a successful phone jam is not 2 or 3 calls. It's not being on Zoom, acting like you're making calls. And it's not looking like you're making phone calls. It's actually making calls. So tip number 1 to get good results on the phone. And this is also really important because you can have a phone jam where you call 5, 6, 7 people and you get nobody home and you feel discouraged, and an hour goes by because you were so discouraged in between calls that you didn't make very many calls. So tip number 1 is it's always 20 to 30 CPH. 20 to 30 CPH. I wanted to call it CPR because you could call it 20 to 30 calls per hour, because that would sound like CPR, but it's going to be CPH. Okay. Calls per hour. Okay. So 20 to 30 calls per hour. That is the first rule of success on the phone. You have to make more than 5 calls. You got to make more than 10 calls. You got to make more than 20 calls. Because here's the thing, Rain, if you try to play football and you try to block or tackle someone one time, you're going to suck at blocking and tackling, right? But if you practice blocking and tackling 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 times in a day or a week, you're going to get pretty good at blocking someone or tackling someone. right? So successful phone jams, it's about repetition. It's about call, 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 call. Don't think, just call. Is everyone with me on that? Like, it's like intense. It's a battle. It's like, why do phone time if you're only going to make 5 calls, right? That's not even called phone time. It's like 50 minutes of stress, 10 minutes of calling. You guys ever done that? Like, you sit there and look at the phone. I don't know who to call. I don't know who to call. Like, you're going to be stressed more than you're going to actually be working. So the first rule of success on phoning is always 20 to 30. And I mean 30. What that is 1 call every 2 minutes. That's not even that hard. I mean, it takes what, 14 seconds, maybe 7 seconds, between 7 and 14 seconds to actually dial the number. And then you get a ring, and you get a ring and a ring and a ring. So it takes you whatever, right? It takes you, I don't know, 17, 20, 30 seconds to get phone ringing. And then you have 90 seconds to hang up on them when they don't answer, or to call the next person. Obviously, when you make a phone call and you talk to a human being, 7-8 minutes go by. And so in an hour, if you talk to like 5 people, there's 40 some minutes almost, right? And then the other 20 minutes of that hour is spent getting answer machines. We'll call it that, right? But if you talk to 5-6 people in an hour, you're going to get a lot of demos. If you don't talk to 5-6-7 people in an hour, you're going to make 30 calls. Does everyone get that? Like 20 calls because you talk to 5 and 15 maybe don't answer. But you cannot be emotionally attached to answer machines. A side note in the 20 to 30 calls is, guys, answer machines don't hurt. There's no pain in an answering machine. You hang up. No one rejected you. No one hates you. You just hang up and move on. That's the next, call the next person. Next man up, so to speak. Next call up, okay? So that's number 1 key to a good phone jam is 20 to 30 calls per hour, okay? Tip number 2 is you got to have your top 40. There used to be something called the top 40 on the radio. Some of you don't even know what a radio is, okay? It's a streaming device that's done in analog instead of digital, okay? Or whatever, okay? So the fact is, the top 40 is you have your top 40 customers lined up always. So if you have 100, 200, 300 names in your phone, 100, 200, 300 names in your Vector Impact, you got to have your top 40 customers ready to rock. And they're in order. Like, you queue them up on your Vector Impact app, or you have them written out on a spreadsheet or on a piece of paper, or you have them typed in a spreadsheet. But like, let's say you have your top 40, Dalton, and you sell to 5 of them or 3 of them, or you do a demo with 7 of them. Now you got to move 7 people into the top 40 that weren't in the top 40 a minute ago. Hopefully your top 47 people that you showed to will give you a whole bunch of good recommendations. And you're like, oh, this one they said was a really good one. I'm going to put her in my top 40. But you got to keep massaging that top 40 customer list. Does everyone with me on this? Okay, so number 1 is 20 to 30 CPH, or calls per hour. Number 2 is you have your top 40. Your top 40 customers always queued up, written out, typed in a spreadsheet, and you keep changing that list, right, Christian? So you're like moving 6 people in, moving 6 people out, right? Or the other way around, moving them out and then put new people in, okay? So that's number 2. Number 3, I love number 3 because it has to do with gummy bears, Skittles, and M&Ms, okay? Gummy bears, Skittles, and M&Ms. So number 3 tip is you have a goal with a reward. So it's a goal with the reward. So this hour of phoning right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 20 phone calls, 30 phone calls, book 3 demos, book 6 demos. I'm getting 6 demos booked. There's Parker Bernhardt wearing my t-shirt. Okay, so, we have the same shirt. It's pretty funny. Okay, but, the third tip is the goal with the reward. So I'm going to book 6 demos. I'm going to book 4 demos. I'm going to book 3 demos. And it's okay if the goal is 3. If your goal for an hour is 3 or 4 demos, that's a solid goal. Your goal should never be less than 3 or 4 demos. Why would you want to do a phone hour if you're not going to book 3 to 4 demos? Is everyone with me on that? That's, again, 50 minutes of stress, 10 minutes of work. That's a crappy phone jam. It should be 60 minutes. You're almost sweating. At the end, you're sitting in your air-conditioned home, but whatever, right? But you're almost sweating on the phone because you're working that intently. And that is the third key, right? I'll get you the 10 tips in a second in print, right? So number 3 is you have a goal. Now, what's the reward? My reward was when I got a demo booked, I'd eat 1 M&M of every color. or I'd eat one gummy bear of every color or one Skittle of every color. Okay. So I like had my candy laid out. I don't care if it's almonds and cashews. I don't care if it's trail mix. I don't care what you're eating, but I would like munch when I'm doing phone calls. So I'd have my M&Ms, all the greens laid out because I'm OCD, and all the red, the orange, whatever color, and I'd have all the colors of the Skittles or whatever laid out, and I'd eat. And of course it was really fun to devour a whole package of gummy bears or a whole package of, but I got more phone calls made and I got more demos booked when I had that reward for booking a demo. Now, let's say my goal was 5 demos. What I would do is I would buy myself an ice cream cone if I hit my goal. And I did phone time in the Burger King, Like I would sit there at Burger King making phone calls. Why? Because there's nothing good to look at Burger King. No, not really any, it's not like the library at college where you can just look at all the scenery, we'll call it, right? There's nothing really good to look at Burger King or Wendy's. So I'd buy a 99-cent burger, I'd make phone calls, and if I hit my goal, I'd buy myself a Frosty, right? Does everyone get me on that? So it was either when I booked a demo, I got to eat gummy bears at home, or I'd buy myself a 99-cent, sundae or something like that. So the goal and the reward. Number 4 is there's 3 approaches, right? You gotta be familiar with, ready to, use the 3 approaches, right? So let me go ahead and jump on the website. Where is the website? I don't have it up, do I? Okay. I usually have it up here, and I'll just open it and go to my vector demo. Okay. So I'm on the phoning tab, right? So I'll move some stuff out of the way here. I'm sharing. You guys see the demo website? Does everyone see this? I got 17 minutes to rock this, and I got a contest to unveil. So by the way, some of you have not read these tips lately, and that's okay. You're normal. But I would look at this and say, maybe I need to talk to the wife more often. How did I do that, by the way? I would say, hey, Mr. Jones, how you doing? This is Phil. I'm Betty's neighbor. I'm a friend of Betty's. Is Jenny there? Is Susie there? Whatever his wife's name is. And I would just straight up ask for his wife. But as a male, sometimes husbands would take that a little offensively. Who's this guy calling my wife, right? So I'm like, yeah, I'm a friend of Janice's. Can I talk to your wife? He's like, oh, you're a friend of Janice's? Yeah, you can talk to my wife, right? Like that's how I would get the husband off the phone and the wife on the phone, right? But, look at these tips. But then remember, there's 3 approaches. The one that's the greatest 12 bullet points in the history of vector marketing. There is no better 12 bullet points that anyone could ever be a master at than these 12 bullet points. And that is the original phone approach. Guys, there's too many people that would rather buy from you, Gavin, than some other person that sells Cutco, that you need to use this approach more than anything. Some of you are like thinking, oh, well, I've been around for 4 days. You've done 7 demos. Don't tell me you've been around for any time whatsoever. Okay. So the number 1 phone approach in the history of vector marketing, these 12 bullet points have made more money for more representatives in the history of our company than any other 12 bullet points. There is no better place for reps to go to be successful in this job than this phone approach right here. There's too many people that Dakota would rather buy from you than me. Okay. I'm telling you right now, Rain's customers would rather buy from me than Rain, but Rain needs to build his names list, which that's a little preview to the contest. So at the end of tip number 5, I'm going to give you guys the contest. So if you have a brother, a sister, a Cutco brother or sister that you want to get on this Champs Club right now, you got to get them on this Champs Club right now. Managers, you should too. Okay. So anyways, there's our first phone approach, but some of you may, and by the way, we'll talk about how to handle objections and stuff like that in a minute. Okay. Remember, if you need to get good at phoning, I would rewatch this 11-minute video. If you're ever discouraged, raise your hand on phoning. If you're ever discouraged. Yeah. This is a phone approach video I would watch again. We watched it in day 2 of training. You should watch it again. You'll be better at your job if you just watch this video again. And then I want to remind you, there's tips on getting more phone numbers. If some of you are like, I want to win a Santoku trimmer today. Oh, I started to give away the contest. Okay, whoops. Okay, but if some of you are like, I need more numbers. I need more numbers. Raise your hand if you need more numbers. Raise your hand if you need more numbers. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're not raising your hand. You're lazy. Okay, you should review this little midsection of this page. But now I want to give you some extra stuff here. I want to remind you, there's a whole nother Jedi master, right? A Jedi way to handle these. Call me next week. Can you just say you did the demo? I'm not going to buy anything. How about I'm not interested, right? There's a bunch of more of how to handle these questions if you just scroll down. What are you selling? I've seen the demo too many times, right? I'm so cool. I haven't bought Cutco from 5 other Cutco reps because I just let them practice. I just let them practice, right? Guys, those were my favorite demos. When someone had seen Cutco, been tempted to buy Cutco 4, 5, 6 times, I usually made a sale to those people because they were tempted because the rep was too wimpy to sell them Cutco. And I would just actually do a demo with confidence and I'd sell them so much Cutco. I used to love it if people said they had too many, they'd seen the demo so many times. I love that. But here's the deal. Some of you haven't even been aware because you haven't looked that there's an approach for people who you went to high school with. Ms. Jones, how you doing? I don't know if my name rings a bell, but I went to school with your son or daughter at Spanish Fork High School. I went to school at, Bingham High School with your son or daughter. I was on the wrestling team. I was actually on indoor soccer with your son, right? I used to be in Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, whatever it is with your son or daughter. And hey, I was wondering if you could help me out with something real quick for a few minutes. And, this summer I'm working with a company, getting some really great experience, and I'm trying really hard to earn a scholarship for college. And my assignment is really simple. Basically, I get paid to show up to people I'm personally recommended to. But the cool thing, by the way, I never talk this fast, but I've only got 13 more minutes, right? The cool thing is about I get paid just to show it. So you don't have to buy anything. Man, that phrase right there, I get paid to show it. You don't have to buy anything. You can say that 7 times. It makes customers so comfortable. By the way, don't say it 7 times in your demo, but on the phone, you can say that forever. They're never going to have to feel pressure, right? I just need to get your opinion on it myself and, real quickly. And that's true because in the Vector Impact Act, it is literally, I want your opinion on the demo and my product, what I'm showing, right? So that's the third, whatever key I'm on, I forget the number. I'm on the 4th key, right? Is the approaches. You got to know these approaches. And then finally, this is the one that's made people the least amount of money. It is an approach that you need to learn, but it's made people the least amount of money. Why? Because you didn't work hard enough on your first approach. This is where you need to spend your time, guys. These 12 dots right up here, the original phone approach from training. But the phone approach that has made people the least amount of money, but is still important that you need to know, is when you're calling your recommendations. Everybody gives recommendations, but I'm telling you, there's 200 people on your list that you just need to get into your app. All right, tip number 5 is that there's 3 parts to every call. Tip number 5 is there's 3 parts to every call. So let me get to the 3 parts to every call. Tip number 5, 3 parts to every call. The first part is part A, and that is the initial AFTA. What is AFTA, Jonathan? It is ask for the appointment, right? You say, Miss Jones, how are you? The reason why I'm calling is I just got a new job and I'm showing Cutco. It's part of my training, put on some initial appointments, blah, blah, blah. I want to do 14 appointments by Monday. So I want to know if I could schedule a call with you or schedule a time to come over on Tuesday at 3, or would 4:30 be better, right? That's the first part A. Part B, everybody, is the handling questions. Handling questions, what is it? I already have Cutco. I've seen the demo 100 times. That time doesn't work. This is the most important one that everyone gets the most, right? I'm kind of busy. And remember, when I go down to these Jedi Master ones down here of how to handle questions, when they say, can you call me tomorrow? Remember, callbacks suck. I'm kind of busy right now. Hi, no problem. I am busy myself, right? That's why I'll be in and out before you know it. I love that phrase. I'll be in and out before you know it. We'll be done before you know it. It'll be quick and easy, right? So could you squeeze me in at this time, or would this time be better? So in handling objections, that's part B. Part A is the phone approach where you ask for the appointment. Part B is where you handle the objections. And then part C is the firm up. You have to understand, you have to do all 3 of those parts of your phone call. You have to, Natalia. You got to do all 3 parts, right? You can't do some of the parts. You have to do all 3. First, it's asking for the appointment. Then it's handling whatever question they have is, what is it? How much, I don't know. I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not interested. I'm kind of busy. And then 3, the third part is you got to firm up. You got to firm up. Okay. All right. Now, really quickly, I'm going to pause the recording. I'm going to resume recording. And here's the next tips. Okay. From our workshop. Okay. So the next tip from today's workshop, I already said there's 3 parts to every call. Tip number 6 is rapport. Okay, rapport. And what that means is you cannot do what you did when you called your aunt. When you called your aunt, you're like, hi, Aunt Betty, you already know I'm selling Cutco, so I'm just calling because I want to get a demo with you. Right? That's not, you can't do that with a customer. And I know you know that, but the problem is you developed bad habits. You develop bad habits when you call your friends and family and you're like, hi, Aunt Betty, everyone else has bought Cutco. Now it's your turn. So would 2 or 3:30 work for you? Right? That's not, you got to build rapport. So I'm going to even call it, ready? Awkward rapport. where they're like, how do you know about me? In other words, you're like, I heard you're the best baker. I heard you're the best, I heard you're the soccer mom of the century. I heard that you're this. I heard that you're that. Oops, I got to share screens again. Okay. So you got to build rapport where they're like, how do you know that I'm a good baker? Okay. It says visit, catch up for a bit. Do you guys see that? But reps forget to do that. Reps meaning all people with a rep number. Raise your hand if you have a rep number. Okay, you've forgotten to do that before. Hi, Aunt Nan, Betty, and you want to catch up, like right here, you're building rapport. How do you know, how do you know Mrs. Johnson? How do you this? How do you that? Oh, do you remember? Yeah, how's your daughter doing? It's been a long time since we graduated together. I know you don't remember me, but I know that, I was in biology with your daughter. We dissected frogs. Right? Like, or whatever you did in high school with their son or daughter, you got to take the time to build rapport. And when you're calling referrals, same thing. I don't know, you know me personally, but did she tell you I was going to give you a call? Oh, she didn't tell you. So, oh, well, that's funny because, I went to school with her daughter, or we were in the same trek together, youth conference, whatever connection there is, you got to build some rapport with your customers. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to tell you, all right, tip number 7 is easy, quick, fun, no big deal. Write that down. Easy, quick, fun, no big deal, right? That's really, really important. Easy, quick, fun, no big deal. What that means is that the easy, quick, fun, no big deal. I'm gonna put the notes right now in the chat because I have to like hang up exactly at 9:30. Okay, so I'm not gonna wait till 9:30 to put these in here. So tip number 7 is easy, quick, fun, no big deal. What that is, Courtney, is that the music behind your words have to say easy, quick, fun, no big deal. I could do a phone approach, Parker, if I simply called Mrs. Jones and say, hey, Mrs. Jones, I know you don't remember me, but I went to school with your son or daughter, and I'm doing something for school to pay for school. It's easy, quick, fun, and it's no big deal. And I needed to get 14 appointments by Friday. So would 2:30 or would 4 o'clock be better? And if I literally the phone approach, Dalton, if I said I have to do 14 appointments, it's easy, quick, fun, no big deal, and then just simply said, would 2:30 or 4 work for you? They would actually say yes. Why? Because it's easy, quick, fun, no big deal. Who cares what it is? Cutco, Buttco, Crapco, rubber dog poop. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If it's easy, it's fun, it's quick, it's no big deal. So the music behind your words, Parker, and I know you know this because you've sold a lot of Cutco, you simply need to make the music behind your words say, look, it's easy, fun, quick, no big deal. The opposite would that be, and I'm doing appointments and I don't want to bother you. And I was wondering if I could do an appointment with you but you don't have to buy anything. That is a pain in the asteroids if you sound like that. I don't want to do a demo with you because you sound like you don't even want to be doing a demo. So it's got to sound like it's easy, fun, quick, no big deal. That's tip number 7. Number 8 is you got to have a goal and a deadline. 14 appointments by Saturday, 12 appointments by Monday, 3 appointments by tonight, 6 appointments by tomorrow. There has to be a goal and a deadline, and the deadline has to be less than 72 hours away. So if it's Wednesday, I'm only booking till Saturday. If it's Sunday night, I'm booking till Wednesday. If it's Tuesday night, I'm booking till Thursday or maybe Friday, but probably just Thursday. And I'm booking appointments for no less than 72 hours or no more than 72 hours. And it's a goal with a deadline, this many appointments by this. And I want to repeat that a couple of times. If I have to answer objections, like I'm kind of busy, I don't know, I'm not interested, I already have Cutco, I'm going to repeat, I need 14 appointments. If I have to get set service calls, I still say that, Parker. I still say, hey, I know you're busy, but I got to get 14 service calls by, or I got to get 7 appointments by this time. So service calls count, obviously. So anyways, that's tip number 8. Number 9 is 2 choices of times. 2 choices, always. Every time you ask for the appointment, you must end every single phone approach with an AFTA, AFTA, ask for the appointment. You got to ask for the appointment, ask for the appointment, ask for the appointment, right? But you always 2 choices of times. And then I want to spend more time on that, 2 choices of times. I really want to spend more time on that, but I can't. Okay, but I can't say it enough. You got to ask for 2 choices, not when's good for you? When would be a good time? Worst case would morning or afternoon work? Would Tuesday or Wednesday work? At least ask for 2 days or 2 times of day, like afternoon, evening, morning, right? 2 choices. And then the last one is FU. You got to firm up. You must. Thank you so much. How many of you have set a demo and had them forget? Terrible, right? Don't do that. You got to firm up every demo every single time you make the phone call, every single time. Guys, I wish I could talk longer. I want to. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to stop recording.